So Assalamualaikum and good day everyone. This is the video presentation of our group for macroeconomics. So these are the 4 members of our group that made this video successful.
So for the question number 1, define the consumer price index and demonstrate how to calculate the inflation rate. So the meaning of the consumer price index is a measure of the change in the average price of goods and services in a given year compared to the base year. So why is this price index important? We need a price index to calculate inflation and to measure the cost of living. Next, the table shows the consumer price index in Malaysia between 2021 until 2023, which is 2021 is 1 to 4.5, 2022 is 1 to 9.2, and 2023 is 131.2. So we proceed to the how to calculate the inflation rate. Inflation rate is equal CPI current year minus CPI last year divided by CPI last year, then multiply by 100. So let's calculate inflation rate for the year 2022. To calculate the inflation rate for the year 2022, the consumer price index for the current year 2022, which is 1 to 9.2, minus the 2021 price index, which is 1 to 4.5, is divided by the 2021 price index, and finally multiply by 100. And the answer is 3.78%. Lastly, we get a inflation rate for year 2021 is 3.66%, 2022 is 3.78%, and 2023 is 1.55%. And the inflation rate between 2021 and 2022 is increasing, while 2023 is decreasing.
Next, we move to the general effects of inflation to a country. First is the purchasing power. Inflation erodes the purchasing power of a currency. This causes a decrease in the real value of money. Consumers can buy fewer goods and services with the same amount of money, thus reducing their standard of living. Second is the wage demands. Workers may demand higher wages to keep up with the rising cost of living, leading to a wage or price spiral that can further fuel inflation. Third is the government budget. Inflation can affect government finances by increasing the cost of servicing debt and reducing the real value of tax revenue. Governments may struggle to balance budgets and maintain economic stability. In conclusion, high or volatile inflation can have detrimental effects on a country's economy, thus leading to instability, inequality, and slower growth. Therefore, policymakers must manage inflation effectively to ensure sustainable economic prosperity.
Next is the positive impact of inflation. The first one is stimulating spending. When people expect that the price will increase, they tend to spend their money to buy products sooner than later. This will stimulate economic activity and increasing of demand because when buy before the inflation, it's cheaper than buy when the inflation happen. The next one is asset increase in value. This will benefit the real estate owner because they pay the mortgage payment with money that are worth less than those they borrow. Other than that, homeowner who rent out their property when the inflation happen can also increase their rent during the time of inflation. This will help them to gain profit from it. The third one is easier loan repayment. This is because the money borrowed is worth more at the time of borrowing than it is at the time of repayment, which means when they are borrowed, the money is worth more than when the borrower want to pay back the money. Borrower with fixed rate loan benefit from inflation because the cost of borrowing become cheaper over the time. This is because the interest rate on the loan remains same, while the value of the money decrease over the time. While inflation is often viewed negatively, there are some positive effects of moderate inflation on a country's economy. The policymaker typically aim to maintain a low and stable inflation rate to promote sustainable economic growth and stability.
So let's move on to the last question. How did the COVID-19 pandemic has brought a decline in consumption in Malaysia? The first one is Movement Control Orders, MCO. It is imposed by the government to avoid the spread of the virus. Many businesses were forced to temporarily close or operate with restrictions. These restrictions reduce people's ability to go out and spend money on goods and services. This led to a significant reduction in consumer spending. The second one is income uncertainty. The pandemic resulted in job losses, reduced working hours, and income uncertainty for many Malaysians. This resulted in cautious spending behavior as people prioritize necessities and reduce unnecessary spending. Fear of potential income loss also contributed to decreased consumer confidence and expenditure. Let's move on to the third one, supply chain disruptions. Disruptions in global supply chains due to lockdowns and restrictions in other countries affected the availability of imported goods in Malaysia. This, combined with logistical issues, led to shortage of certain products and higher prices, discouraging consumption. So the last one is impact on tourism. Malaysia's tourism industry, a significant contributor to consumption, was severely impacted by travel restrictions and border closures. The decline in tourism led to reduced spending on hospitality services, transportation, and retail goods typically purchased by tourists, further decreasing the consumption. So in conclusion, the COVID-19 pandemic brought a significant decline in consumption in Malaysia, caused by movement restrictions, income uncertainty, tourism decline, and supply chain disruptions. The level of the decrease differed by sector of the economy, with industries that depended mostly on physical presence and tourism suffering the most.